Welcome to the Gene Policini Center on the campus of the Rochester Institute of Technology, where tonight the RIT Tigers will look to earn a series split with the visiting Sacred Heart Pioneers. One guy the Tigers will need to zero in on here tonight is number 20, Vito Bavaro. Bavaro had 2 goals and 1 assist on Friday as the Pioneers produced a season-high 9 goals. Last night was not one to remember for RIT or number 30, Logan Drackett, who was pulled before the midway point of the first period. We'll see how Drackett and the rest of the Tigers respond to their biggest loss of the season so far when the puck drops here at 5:05. Good evening, I'm Kevin Roach, and welcome to RIT SportsZone Pregame Live. Well, the Tigers entered last night as the only remaining unbeaten team in the league play 4-0-2, but RIT knew this weekend was going to be a challenge as Sacred Heart came to town with one of the most dynamic and explosive offenses in Atlantic hockey. And boy, did we see that last night. Well, it didn't take long. The Sacred Heart Pioneers proved it. In 55 seconds, Ian Austin Majera beats Logan Drackett. His second straight game, RIT was down 1 less than a minute into the contest. But wait, less than a minute later in the first period, Sacred Heart would strike again. This time it was Vito Bavaro. Tigers not sure what hit him, down 2 less than 2 minutes in. And Sacred Heart kept coming. Jordan Kaplan getting his second on the season just over 5 minutes into the first period. Tigers in a big 3-0 hole, and it would get worse. This time, Sacred Heart on the power play, one of the best units in the nation, and they show you why. Jason Cotton scores to make it a 4-0 Sacred Heart lead. Just 8 minutes and 36 seconds in, and Logan Drackett's night was over. In came Ian Andriano, hoping to give the Tigers a boost. Late in the period, RIT would stop the bleeding, only temporarily, as Jake Joffe coming on strong here, his 3rd on the year. On the rebound, it was 4-1 Pioneers at that point, but not even a minute later. Rocky hadn't even announced the Joffe goal, and Todd Goring with a pretty move, scooping it up and over Ian Andriano's shoulder. Andriano never saw it. Sacred Heart up 5-1 after 1. Second period, more of the same. Sacred Heart would score on a 5-on-3, and then here on the power play, they score again. A perfect 3-for-3 on the man advantage at that point, thanks to Austin McElmurray. He made it 7-1. Tigers showed some life, though, in the third period, just 37 seconds in. Kobe Walker, first goal on the year. It was 7-3. Then the Tigers on the power play, 0-for-25 in their last 6 games, but they finally break through as Walker picks up his second of the night. All of a sudden, RIT back within 3. Was a comeback in order? Oh no, Sacred Heart too strong all night long. They had an answer for everything. Jordan Kaplan with his second of the night. Sacred Heart rolls to a 9-5 victory. So a lot to sort through as we look inside the numbers following last night's 14-goal affair. You don't see that very often. RIT give up 5 in the first period for the first time since the D1 era began in 05. RIT outshot in the game 44-22. The Pioneers had 7 different goal scorers, and 14 players recorded at least 1 point last night. They scored so many goals in the first period we can't even fit it on the graphic. The Tigers were penalized 11 times last night as the Pioneers went 3-for-5 on the power play while holding RIT to 1-for-4. With more on last night's stunner and a preview of tonight's rematch, our John DiTullio standing by live now with RIT head coach Wayne Wilson. Good evening, John.
All right, thank you, Kevin. In a long season, Wayne, you're going to have a game like you had last night. So what was the message to your team?
Well, we were just disappointed on what we tried to set out to do to play them. We knew their forwards were very good, and we wanted to keep the puck out of their forwards' hands and really put pucks in behind their D, get a good forecheck on, and have them use a lot of energy defending their own net. And then if they got out, their forwards a good chance maybe dump and change versus, continually to come right back at us on waves, what felt like waves of offense for them, off the transition offense for them. And so tonight's the same thing. We got to get pucks behind them. We got to make them defend for a while so that we can tire them out there, but also expose, I think, their defense and goaltender. I thought just in general for a game that we didn't play very well, to still get 5 goals, that's enough to win any hockey game. We've got to defend much, much better than we did last night, and stay out of the penalty box as well will help.
It's an opportunity for you to maybe find out what your team is made of after losing last night. What do you think their mood is right now?
Well, that's a good question. We're going to find out. We try to really kind of zero in on the tasks that we've got to do tonight to be successful, and focus in on that. And so we've challenged them with what they need to do to execute the game plan. If they can do that, we'll give ourselves a chance to win tonight. But if we don't, if we play like last night where we kept turning the puck over at the blue lines and then watching them attack our end and really not even coming back very hard, I think we're going to be in for another long night. So having said that, we'll see if what we put into play we can execute and resemble. And like I said, a split this weekend will be big for us now, particularly after last night, but it's right in front of us here, and it would even things up for two very good hockey teams.
Logan wasn't typical Logan. What do you want to see from number 30 tonight?
Well, I think Logan really didn't save us from our mistakes, and we made some big blunders. So, I'd put him in the class. It was a team effort last night. So it wasn't on him at all. But once it got away from us, I said, we knew we were going to use him. We've been playing him every game. This is a good opportunity to get him out of the net, see what the other two guys can do, or at least Ian can do, and give him rest so that he's ready for tonight. No sense keeping him in there and beating him up when he's played every minute so far this year.
All right, that's Wayne Wilson. Good luck tonight, Wayne. With the preview now for Sacred Heart, let's send it over to my broadcasting partner, Gene Battaglia. Gino?
All right, thanks, Johnny. Head with Coach C.J. Maritolo, 11th season at Sacred Heart. Your team did something last night that, Ohio State couldn't do, Bowling Green couldn't do, Air Force couldn't do, and that was get to Logan Draken. How were you able to do it?
Yeah, Logan's a terrific goaltender. I think we got some fortunate bounces. We had some traffic in front of him, and, I expect Logan to rebound tonight.
Well, seems like we know you guys, all right? This is the 14th meeting over the last 3 years. So we remember what happened last March where the first game, 9 goals, and the second night, a totally different game. Did that come in at all today, how this RIT team is going to bounce back there?
Well, there's no question they're going to bounce back. I have a lot of respect for Wayne and his staff and how his team plays. And that's the million-dollar question today. Like we talked to our team about, we got to move on from yesterday, and today's a new day, and RIT's they have a lot of talent on that team, and I expect it to be a one-goal game.
You've got a lot of snipers on your team. When it comes to the conversation of who might contend, where does your team fit right now in Atlantic hockey?
I think it's kind of early to where we fit, but we really like our group. We think we have really good speed. We have a lot of talent and skill up front, and we still have a lot of work to do, though.
Things got a little chippy, as you would expect last night. And again, with you guys playing each other so many times, do you expect that at all? Did you address that with your team at all today?
No, I didn't address anything. We just want to play our game and be as disciplined as we can within our structure.
Well, like RIT, you have a goaltender that you can rely on in Benson. What does that do for a team when you don't have to worry who's going to be in goal night tonight?
Yeah, it's a luxury to know you have a guy back there that will make the big save when you need it. And last night, I thought we hung him out to dry a little bit, but hopefully we'll tighten some things up tonight.
Can you get him some artwork on his face mask, or is that his thing?
I think that's his thing. He's just simple, and that's it.
CJ, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Head coach CJ Maritolo, Sacred Heart tonight, looking for the weekend sweep. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, Gene, sometimes simple gets it done. We'll see what happens here tonight. Thank you. Well, after suffering their first conference loss of the season, the Tigers have now dropped to 3rd in the Atlantic hockey standings. Robert Morris on top after winning last night with 18 points as they increased their lead after improving to 6-1 with a win over Bentley. Sacred Heart jumped to 2nd with the win here. AIC moved up to 4th after their 12-0 win over Mercyhurst. If you didn't hear about that one, you thought this one was shocking here at the Policini. That one shocked us a little more. They're tied with Idle, Air Force, and Army, and of course Canisius picking up its first conference win over Niagara. The Purple Eagles are now the only team without a win in the conference. Well, still to come on the program, the RIT women's hockey team looked to sweep Dartmouth right out of town this afternoon. Highlights are on the way. Plus, it's been his life for over 2 decades now. Coming up, we'll share what it's like for this guy to have the coolest job on campus. But first, number 14 for RIT is Jake Hamaker, the Corona, California native, is RIT's top point getter at the moment. He'll join the program live next as our coverage of Tiger hockey rolls on from the Gene Policini Center at RIT. So glad you're with us. It's the Tigers and Pioneers for the final time this regular season. You're watching RIT SportsZone Pregame Live. Back Back here on RIT SportsZone pregame live from the Gene Policini Center. Tigers looking for a big response here tonight in hopes of erasing last night's disastrous 9-5 loss while also avoiding a sweep. They don't want that. It's a busy afternoon and evening in Atlantic hockey as 10 of the 11 teams are in action. Niagara and Canisius are underway in the first period, and Niagara has a 2-1 lead early in that one. Mercyhurst has scored after being shut out 12-0 last night. They lead AIC 1-0 after the first. Army, Holy Cross, and Robert Morris, the first place team, taking on Bentley. That coming up at the same time we face off tonight, 7:05. Last night we got a chance to see all three RIT goaltenders tonight. Wayne Wilson going to start with number 30, Logan Drackett. Drackett tied a season high with 4 goals against, but he did it in just the first 8 minutes of the game last night. I think everyone expects him to be sharper here tonight. As for Sacred Heart, head coach CJ Maritola sticking with Josh Benson as he has all season long. Benson stopped 17 of the 22 shots he faced last night, which isn't that great either, but thankfully for him, his offense spotted him a season high 9 goals. Well, the Tigers are going to need a total team effort here tonight, and if they hope to pull out a 3-point win, the top line of Alden Dupuis, Sean Cameron, and Jake Hamaker, well, they can't go pointless again here tonight like they did last night. Speaking of Jake Hamaker, he's off the ice and with our Kim Coffey. Good evening, Kim.
Hey, Kevin. Jake, last night, obviously a game I'm sure you guys would wish you had back, but that being said, less than 24 hours later, you're back here. What's the vibe been like in the locker room heading into Game 2 here with Sacred Heart?
We all know it's an important game. Them coming into our building and playing us like that was definitely tough for us, so we're out for some revenge tonight.
We definitely saw tensions rise yesterday in the game. Penalties on the Tigers and Sacred Heart. What do you guys have to do to come out and control those emotions tonight?
Yeah, I think those emotions are good to an extent. It went a little over the edge last night for both teams, but I think tonight if we play a little more gritty and a little more with Tiger hockey, I think we'll be fine.
Things got out of hand for you guys quick last night in the first period. What do you have to do to come out and control the game right from the start?
Yeah, our starts have been something that we've been wanting to focus on lately, and they haven't been good for us. So tonight we definitely have to come out playing Tiger hockey right away and not wait for them to spot them a couple goals. We got to be the one to score first. So that's one of our goals for tonight for sure.
Jake, thanks so much. Good luck tonight. Kevin?
All right, Kim, thanks so much. Meanwhile, after going winless in their first 6 games, the RIT women's hockey team has turned the corner. The Tigers entered the day looking to sweep Dartmouth and record their 5th win in their last 6 games. We have the highlights from earlier this afternoon. We pick up the action in the first period. Watch the effort here by freshman forward Jamie Nolan, staying with it and poking it in for her 4th goal on the year. Tigers led 1-0 after 1. Second period, the Big Green on the power play. Watch a nice cross feed here to Jess Forsey in front, and she beats Jessie O'Leary. Great play there. Nothing you can do about it to tie the game at 1. This one would go to overtime. In overtime, the Tigers appear to strike as Hannah Humphreys loses the puck, and it's into the net. But hold on. The officials blew the whistle early. So it's ruled a no goal, a heartbreaker for RIT, and it would sting moments later as they can't clear it, and Christina Rombat scores the game winner for Dartmouth. Tigers lose 2-1 in overtime.
You know, it's the only thing we can control is our effort, and it was outstanding. We played tough. We killed a lot of penalties in the second period, and we had an opportunity to win it, and we thought we did, but it's the way it goes sometimes, and, you know, we'll be back and prepared for Tuesday.
How encouraged are you by just the way this team is playing? You look at that third period from yesterday where they just came out and gave it their all and took that game from Dartmouth, and then today another great effort.
Sure, it was, they're just relentless. They have that fight in them, and that's the key. You know, as we get into December and January and further, that's going to pay off.
Yeah, the Tigers hoping it will pay off down the line. Well, RIT has a quick turnaround as head coach Chad Davis' group will return to action on Tuesday night when they visit Union in Schenectady. It's the first of 4 on the road for them. Tigers will return home here to the Policini Center December 14th and 15th when they host Long Island University of Brooklyn, their very first season in D1 women's hockey. How about basketball? The season is underway. Today, a doubleheader of action at the Clark Gym. Bob McVean's men's squad, well, they went over the century mark, 105-67. 5 players in double figures as the Tigers improved to 2-0. A great start there. Amy Reed's women's basketball team, they tip off at the top of the hour against SUNY Geneseo. Well, still to come on the show, we'll look back on last night's wild game that saw a total of 14 goals. Oh my. Plus, John and Gene will be here to discuss the keys to a Tiger victory tonight. That's all straight ahead. You're watching RIT Sports Zone pregame live.
Now on the high slot, it'll be Lee to the near side. Cotton with stick handling, shoots and scores. It's 4-0. And that's the team captain, Jason Cotton. Wow.
Where's the puck?
It's in the net, John. It's in the net. Yeah, trapped out being in front, and that's going to be McElmurray on the weak side. Another power play goal. Boston McElmurray. Well, this third, Walker to Dupuis. Nobody home. Here's Willett, the blast. He fans. Shot by Walker. Walker puts it back in. Kobe Walker makes it a 7-4 game on the power play.
Oh, look out.
Shot. And there goes your hope, as that comes from way downtown. Yeppe Europe trapped out, chasing after it. Shot from the corner. And Bruce will deflect it in. 8-5. How big does that goal look? Now the 8th goal look as the Tigers have cut it to 8-5. A lot of ground to make up as McElmurray. Blocker pad save, a rebound put back in. And that's the 9th is, yes, Andriano making the save, but then the putback.
Here comes the freshman goalie.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, that is how Sacred Heart took care of business against the Tigers last night by a final of 9-5. If you'd like to watch the highlights again, or if you'd like to see any highlights from any other Tiger games this season, want to check out any features we've done, Division III live streams as well, you can find it all at ritathletics.com as we welcome you back inside the Gene Policini Center, where you're watching RIT Sports Zone pregame live, presented by Taylor the Builders. Joined now by John and Gene. And guys, we were all trying to figure out some bad losses by the Tigers in this building over the last 6 years. And I was looking back, and 6-1 loss to Arizona State last season, 8-3 loss to RPI in 2017. All bad results, but I don't recall a game here at home that got away so quickly as last night's did.
Yeah, 4 goals, Kevin. And we weren't even halfway through the first. Good evening to you. And John, where do you start the blame? How about everybody? Coaching, players, offense, defense, nothing worked.
Even talking to Wayne, he says it was everybody. It wasn't on Logan. It wasn't on the defense. It wasn't on the forwards. It was collectively. They didn't play well. I mean, they did not. I don't think they anticipated the speed of Sacred Heart early on. They didn't play with great effort or energy, and they fell behind. And the next thing you know, it's 4-zip. We're 9 minutes into the game. But last year, they lose game 1 against Sacred Heart to get pancake, come back, win the series. We thought this team's resilient. We're going to find out for sure tonight.
Yeah, and in that first game, they gave up the 9 goals. The Sacred Heart team full of snipers everywhere between Cotton and McElmurray, and a guy last night who got 2, that being Vito Bavaro.
He was all over the player, all over the ice. He's a great two-way player. I thought, they had 7 different goal scorers last night, but he really stood out. Just a great playmaker, great speed. I thought the passing, the movement of the puck, he was sensational. But this entire team, they've got forwards that are big time on this Pioneer club.
Now, if we're going to focus on somebody who had a good game for the Tigers last night, there weren't too many, John, but Kobe Walker did show heart getting to the net and cashing in twice in the third.
I thought he was one of the players that really stood out. I thought he had great effort all last night, and good to see him. Maybe this could really jumpstart his season, getting his first 2 goals of the year on that top line of Bruce, who had a goal, and Calverley was a little bit quiet last night, but I thought Kobe Walker gave great effort on both ends.
Well, look, if you get a 3-point weekend here,
it's fine. You'll take that.
Yeah, so what has to happen tonight, John?
Well, listen, I think it starts with short-term memory. You got to forget what happened last night, and as you mentioned, they're playing for 3 points tonight. Cue up Tattoo You from the Rolling Stones. Start Me Up. The kids watching may want to call that up on YouTube. You'll like the song. You'll love the album. But, listen, they've got to start me up. They've got to come out of the gate. They've got to come flying and defend what's yours. That doesn't mean at the blue line. I think that starts with the forecheck. I think it starts on the entire ice. They've got to move their skates. I think they've got to be physical. They got to get the Pioneers off the puck. And Logan Drackett needs to play better. But you need to defend this this arena tonight. It's going to take full 60 minutes.
Yeah, Kevin, at the very least, come out, show some heart tonight. Might be a little chippy, too. Keep an eye on that. Looking forward to calling this one with the puck drop at 5:05.
All right, guys, we're looking forward to it. See you soon. Well, he is one of the most integral parts of the RIT hockey program, but his shifts on the ice don't determine whether the Tigers win or lose. And while most of his work goes unseen, his contributions over the last 2 decades certainly haven't gone unnoticed. Stu Hughes has worked at RIT for over 4 decades, spending his first 20 years in facilities management before finding arguably the coolest job on campus.
I saw it listed and I thought it would be a unique job, something a little different. I was getting kind of tired of plowing snow, so I figured I'd go cut some snow instead.
Yeah, I wanna drive the Zamboni. Yeah, I wanna drive the Zamboni. Yes, I do.
For the last 22 years, Hughes has been the university's ice operations manager, overseeing Ritter Arena, and for the last 6 years, the Gene Policini Center.
It's a pretty fun job. Yeah, I've been very fortunate with my bosses that I've had throughout the years, that they've given me the tools I needed to, do a good job.
It's a job that can't be done alone. Hughes works with 3 other full-time staff members and employs nearly 15 students.
It's actually a lot of work. It can be very technical as far as people think, yeah, you just go out and lay water. There's a lot more to it than that. So there are some challenges, which makes it, for me, makes it fun.
What are some of the challenges you face on a day-to-day basis?
Practices, the way they can really destroy the ice, rebuilding it. We usually have 4 weeks of schedules. So I'm looking 4 weeks ahead of what we've got, where our ice depths need to be, humidity, temperature, building temperature, all that comes into play.
Hughes can be described as meticulous when it comes to ice maintenance. The boards are clean, the glass is spotless, and the ice is as good as it gets.
I just like coming in and making sure that everything is in its place, the teams are ready to go, they have the best quality ice I can give them. I just enjoy that. I guess that was instilled in me when I was young. Whatever you do, and I tell my students this, I don't care if you're emptying garbage, whatever you do, just take pride in what you do. Do your best at whatever you're doing.
Look at Stu. Donuts.
While there's been a lot of fun and games over the years for RIT Zamboni driver, the lone drawback to the job is the pressure to be perfect.
I always think we can do better, we can do more. So that's, for me, it's kind of the negative part of my job, is I'm never happy. I always think we could do it a little better. So.
That's a bet.
Well, ask my employees, they may not agree.
Oh, Stu's been getting it done for quite some time here at RIT, and everybody appreciates his work. Well, they're getting settled in here at the Coliseum as face-off quickly approaching. We'll wrap things up from here next. This is RIT SportsZone, pregame live. Oh, wow, look at the time. That'll do it for us. John and Gene are next. Enjoy the game, everyone. We'll see you back here for the intermission report. RIT SportsZone Live begins right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your RIT Tigers. Hammaker.
RIT SportsZone pregame live brings you to the Coliseum tonight, where the RIT Tigers look for the weekend split as they take on the Sacred Heart Pioneers. Good evening, everyone. Gene Battaglia along with John DeTullio. Last night was last night, John, but tonight. Let's see if the Tigers can bounce back.
They're going to need to bounce back. We've been thinking that this team is different from what teams from the past. We feel they're resilient. Well, we're going to find out here in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, as Logan Drackett gets the call once again, getting pulled last night. Interesting to see how he responds tonight.
And listen, Wayne didn't put it all on Logan. He goes, listen, he needs a little bit of help in front of him. He didn't play his best game, but neither did anybody else. So they laid an egg. I expect them to play much better tonight.
So, John, what has to happen in order for the Tigers to get the split here?
Well, to bounce back, they need short-term memory. I mean, listen, forget about what happened last night. You need 3 points tonight. Cue up little Mick and the boys, Start Me Up from the Rolling Stones. Let me tell you something. They've got to start faster and defend what is yours on both ends. Need to play both ends of the ice tonight if they want to get 3 points.
We'll have the puck drop coming your way next. It's RIT and Sacred Heart. This is RIT SportsZone Live.